We are at Penn Treaty Park on Saturday morning.
So what's the project about? This is a year-long project to imagine the people's waterfront. There's an incredible park out here in front of me, which hopefully we'll pan to in a minute, that dates back to the early 1800s on the site of what many believe is William Penn's famous treaty spot with the Indians. Behind me is a monument that sits at the site of an elm tree that is called the Penn Treaty Elm. Why are we here? We're here because Penn's vision for Philadelphia was one of an open and public waterfront. There's been a lot of change to that through the years, and there's an opportunity now with an executive order signed by Mayor.
Well, I want to underscore the significance of this process and our goals for this process. You know, we will never have a second chance to develop and to put an imprint on the development of this waterfront. Well, let me tell you something. The speed with which events have occurred on this waterfront is phenomenal. When I became the mayor, and that's almost 7 years ago, we thought for good reason that some of this land on the waterfront wouldn't develop for maybe 10, 15, 20 years. When we did the North Delaware plan, we didn't think we were planning for something that was going to happen the next day. And it happened very, very quickly. And so no matter whether or not anybody thinks it's a day late, but let me tell you something, tomorrow would have been even later than today. And I want to thank Penn, and I want to thank Harris, and a special thanks to Councilman Frank DiCicco, because Councilman DiCicco deserves this. He deserves a huge role in all this. Councilman DiCicco and I had discussions about this for the last at least a year or two, and we determined that we really had to get a process that was different. It was different, and it was much more inclusive, and that really had the imprint of the neighborhoods, of people, regular folks who are invested in our city and in our community. And we think this does it. In fact, if this doesn't do it, I don't know what can do it. And the fact that so many people have come here on good weather. Now, this could be one of the nicest days that we'll have forever in weather. But I know that the first walk, it was very different. The weather was very, very different. I was in City Hall. I had a whole bunch of stuff to do, and I called over here, and I said, "Is there anybody here? Maybe we should do this at another time." And it ended up being a huge crowd of people. Yeah. And it just goes to show you, if you make it possible for people to get engaged in their government and in their process, if we make it possible, and if we don't shut people out, you know what? People will get involved. Now, I think I have a state representative. Do we have a state representative here? State Representative Taylor. State Representative Taylor. He's not. You know how it is when we're dressed out of character. I actually have my uniform on today, in part because when I leave here, I'm going to go someplace where I need my uniform. But Representative, thank you for being with us. This, I think, is another signal that this is actually a process that's going to work. It's a process that's going to work.
Two here.
Where?
Mike O'Brien.
Mike O'Brien, that's right. Congratulations, Mike. Well, now it's for sure. I mean, how can we miss? I actually used to have a little gray. I used to have a little gray and a big head of black hair. Now I have all white hair. Paul Levy, thank you so very much. The Center City District is represented here. He's been doing this work for a long, long time, for which we are very grateful. God bless you. We're going to have a nice tour today.
Let's go.
Well, any questions before we go?
Waterfront enthusiasts continuing their walk today. It is drop dead gorgeous. What a treasure these open fields are to have right along the river.